Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our board meeting today, Wednesday, October 1st, 2022. I call to meeting to order at 5:31. And this time I will continue, we'll call with a roll call. Mrs. Gilpas, Mrs. Garcia, Mr. Ocampo,
Present.
Mr. Mercado,
Present.
Mr. Jimenez, present. And this time, Mr. Conin, can you please lead us the flag salute?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Connie. Mr. Connie, do we have any spotlight items today?
Yes, we do. We have 3 spotlights, and the first one, a few days ago, we had an incident on Williams Road where the 2 students who were attempting to cross the street at Del Monte, suddenly a white van just accelerated into the crossing lane. And we had a very courageous campus supervisor who was walking with these students, who grabbed the student who was in the path of the van and pulled her out. The 2 of them fell down, but they're both fine. Ms. Celia Zaragoza, campus supervisor at Lexile Community School, was the hero. And she is not able to be here, but we have prepared a nice commemorative certificate that we will present to her next week or later on this week at Lexile Community School. So kudos to Celia Zaragoza. Next, Ms. Anzo has a spotlight that she'd like to make.
Mr. Koenig, if I may for a second, or President, excuse me, Jimenez, are our microphones on? Because on the screen it's saying they're off. Off, so those are off. So we're using these, okay, and we don't have to hold the finger down.
No.
Awesome.
Good evening, Board President Jimenez, Superintendent Koenig, board members and community. I have the great honor to share wonderful news with you this afternoon. The district's extended learning program received a validation and is now an official 2022 Golden Bell Award winner. So yes, very, very exciting news. We applied in June and CSBA came out in September, visited some of our programs and interviewed Ms. Carranza. And we received this news yesterday. And so the ceremony, the Golden Awards Receptionist ceremony, will take place on Thursday, December 1st from 5 to 7:30 at the Marriott Marquis in San Diego. So I believe all of you will be there. So we'll get to receive this award. So congratulations to everybody's hard work with their extended learning program. Thank you.
Finally, we've received notice that Lexile Union School District's PIO, Public Information Officer, Claudia Melendez, won first prize at the 6th annual Red Wheelbarrow Poetry Prize at De Anza College. Her poem was called Transitioning. And in addition to receiving a thank you letter, she will get a $1,000 cash prize. So congratulations Ms. Melendez.
No more spotlights? Okay, I have two. Today is the International Teacher Day. Congratulations and thank you to all teachers, especially to our Alisal Union School teachers for the hard work and dedication to our students. I would take this as the opportunity to thank Mrs. Anso, or Associate Superintendent of Education, for representing the Alisal Union School District in AXA Women's Leadership Conference in San Diego. She was one of the speakers and panel where she shared the award of Alisal Union School District as our student and work of the instructional and leadership team and our district. Thank you, Mrs. Hanson. Okay, next item. Now, we will adopt the agenda. I need a motion to adopt the agenda.
So move.
Ms. Garcia, oh no, Ms. Gilpas. Ms. Garcia. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed by 5 votes to 0. Thank you very much. Now, we have a presentation. The school site presentation, Principal Elizabeth Armenta, Allison Community School.
Yes, thank you, Board President.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Jimenez. The theme of this presentation by Ms. Armenta is a little different from her previous presentations. She will be presenting on the role of the principal as the site educational leader. And she has been a terrific leader at Alisal Community School. She's been there for over 10 years, and she's achieved great success. And she's going to share some of her lessons learned and what she does to achieve the great results for our students at Alisal Community School. Ms. Armenta.
Just want to quickly, before we get started, just give a quick overview of our site. We have 596 students, TK through 6th grade. 428 of those students are EL learners. We're not including the kinder students at this point because these are based on the Lpac. That's considered EL learners. As you see there, we have, those are our demographics. One that I would like to highlight is that we have 131 homeless students that we also cater to. One of my responsibilities is to make sure that I have systems in place that ensure uh, student progress. And it's been one of my long journeys that I have been at LSL, establishing routines, procedures in order for our children to be successful. And this couldn't have been done without my staff. So it's not just me, but also my staff. We walk hand in hand to provide the best that we can. So without further ado, I would like to just go over quickly the data that we use to address the student learning as well as the instruction. What you have here in front of you is the comparative results from 2019 and 22. The far right was pre-pandemic, when LSL was leading strong. Year after year, we were gaining points. And I'm very proud of our achievement. At that point, it was at 50% of our 3rd grade through 6th grade students met and exceeded the ELA, which is the English Language Arts. And compared to LSL Union School District, we're comparing how we were doing, and we were very proud of the hard work that we had put in place. For math, it was 37%. Looking now, a few years later, after the pandemic, we really saw how it affected our journey. And so this past year, the 2022 school year, you see that the English Language Arts results took a dip of about 14 points, ELA, English Language Arts. And in math, it dropped to 20% of our 3rd through 6th grade students. So based on these current results, you could see how it truly did impact our journey as we were moving forward. So now, just moving further into our data, this is the Lpac data from this late spring 2022. And this is based on the current students that are enrolled at our site. We are proud to see that our numbers are moving. We currently have in the well-developed, which is the level 4, to reclassify 71 students. Out of those 71, 44 met the criteria. So we're very proud that we're doing a big celebration for these students, because despite of the pandemic, we still managed to increase our numbers. This was a journey that we've been on for quite some time, and so we still were able to obtain our goal. If you see the column in yellow, that's our group that we're honing in. We're hoping that with the systems that we have put in place, that we'll be able to move more kids into the green and the greens going into the blues so that they can reclassify. So we've done a lot of work with the addressing LCAP goal 2 through West Ed guidance. We've accomplished quite a bit. And in addition to that, we've addressed other areas that we needed to address in order to kind of regroup and plan into the future. So like you see here, we are addressing now the practices that we have in place, and we're teaming across all grade levels with the exception of kinder. We will be addressing them in late, probably before the 3rd trimester, just to give them that extra help to see if we can move some kids forward. So as a leader, one of the areas that we really had to look at in order to address the LCAP, the LPAC students that you saw in the green and blue columns on the previous slide, we needed to look at their Lexile levels, because that was one of the criteria issues that that was hindering some of our students. So what you see here in front of you is the Achieve 3000 for 3rd through 6th grade. We use this program to determine the grade levels, Lexile level per student. So this year, and we are honing in on in 2 grades, which just happens to be the grades that the district is also taking a look at, which is 3rd grade and 4th grade. Currently, we have 57 students that are not meeting the grade level. This is baseline. So we know that we have the coming months to improve our students' learning with the systems that we had put in place. In 4th grade, we have 62 that have not met. That, according to baseline, they're below the grade level, Lexile level. So what we ended up doing is going in deeper. So keep in mind these 2 grades. We went ahead and we had to look at exactly where was the gap. So in order to do so, we administered the reading fluency along with other assessments to really determine where the foundational skills were needed. So looking at the presentation in front of you, you look at the red arrow where it indicates benchmark. That's the 50th percentile. That is the goal that we want to reach. So we assessed all the students. We figured we might as well do all and just to get a better picture of the whole entire grade level. So this is what we ended up with. We have, the good news is that we have 49 out of 80 3rd graders, which is 61% at benchmark already or above. So we're hopeful in that. However, if you look at the number of students that are sitting in what we call the intervention and intensive performance levels, we have 31 that needs our assistance. So in 4th grade is pretty much the same results. We have 44 out of 93, which is 47% of our kids already at benchmark or above. And then in our intervention block, you see there that we're talking about 49. So these are the 2 groups that we're really taking a look at. And so we, like I mentioned, we did this with all the students in these 2 grades so that we could really get a better read. And we also did this with our 2nd graders and our 5th and 6th grade as well. At this point, this time, I really want to thank the district for making this possible because we were able to obtain extra help with the proposal grants that we submitted. So this is why we were able to move forward with our plan. So for our 1st and 2nd grade students, you see here the results of reading development assessment that we call DRA. This assessment is used throughout the year to determine how we're progressing. So what you see here is the baseline for 1st and 2nd grade students. Currently, we have a total of 84 students that did not meet the baseline target. So then these students are also going through the same process of providing that extra one-to-one or small group instruction through the assistance of our intervention teacher that we will be hiring soon and our staff. So our staff will be providing guided reading. So this is where we hone in on the whole entire class and address all their needs. And we will continue to monitor throughout the year. So did I do that quickly so I can continue? So there's a lot of data, right? So what do we do with this data? So the area that we're honing in on is that we've launched the RTI model not just at our school, but at our whole entire district. And it takes a lot of work, a lot of work, a lot of learning. We have to go slow in order to go fast. And so this is our main focus this year. And this will guide us to our next steps and our actions. And as a leader of the school, I have to ensure that I understand all this information, how this all works, in order for me and my team to assist our staff and our students. So we meet as a grade level, and as a team, we collectively come up with an agenda. And these are the 4 questions that you probably have seen at different occasions, different formats that drive the student learning. So the first 2 questions are taken care of through developing the essential standards, guides, and the unit plans and so forth. So what I'm talking about today is more of what we do with the data. So we will be addressing more of the last two questions. So there is a process, and like I said, it was a lot to roll out for our teachers to truly understand what RTI was all about and how we determined who were the students that were going to receive this intervention. So what you see here is 7 steps that the first PLC meeting we modeled. This is the form that we used, and you have a copy of it. And so we modeled what the how to use this form and the expectation. So first things first, teachers plan, teach, and assess, right? So when they come together at a PLC, they will analyze the data from these assessments, these ongoing assessments. They could be bi-weekly, weekly, even exit picks that will determine whether the student has mastered that essential standard, that concept or skill. So the way this will work is that as they're analyzing the data, teachers are also taking a look at their strengths, what the kids bring, what were their obstacles at the same time. And so teachers come and they share out because they're using common assessment. So we're comparing apples to apples and not apples to oranges. So we end up setting a plan as to what it is what's working. So we identify any concerns that the teachers might have. So using common data it's easy to then be able to communicate with each other and try and figure out a plan. Looking at common patterns, trends that might be able to determine what is the hiccup and so forth. So along that, we also determine the causes. What's causing this? Did we not teach it correctly, or what happened? Did we miss a step? So by looking at this and really reflecting on the leading causes that impacted student learning, so coming together and working as a team is very important. So then we set the goals, and that's the hard part. That's where it comes in, where we're setting the goals, not just for the low-end students that didn't learn, but also for the ones that did, because we also have to have a plan for the ones that have met the standard, the skill. So we determine the outcome based on what we want the students to learn, not reflect on what they don't know. So it's a lengthy process, and it took a long time, and it is going to take a long time, because our teachers working together and coming together and analyzing and then setting up the intervention plan, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. So I commend my teachers for sticking with me the first PLC as we went and we modeled and we guided the instruction of this form with real data that they had on hand. So what we end up doing, excuse me, I did that again, is like I spoke in regards to the action plan. And it's not just, okay, we're just going to do a lesson. It really has to go into detail. You really need to dig in deep as to what is it going to look like. And so we talk about the duration of the intervention, how many days per week, because there's other things that are happening. So all this is taken into consideration. We brainstorm what resources are we going to use? What techniques, what assessments are we going to put in place, especially when we're reteaching, because we're honing in on the kids that didn't learn the standard or the objective for that matter. So we monitor also the progress. So we have to keep on monitoring because RTI says all students will master. So we have to continue going back and checking on our students. And so making sure that they're understanding the curriculum, excuse me, the lessons pertaining to the essential standard. Leading the responsibility, which teacher will also be the one making sure that our students are learning. So there's a lot that goes on in this process. So this has been the main focus that, like I said at the beginning, as a leader, this is my responsibility to ensure that all my students are learning. And like I said, taking it slow so that we can go fast, so that then we can have a better outcome for this coming year. So this is our focus for this year, is really implementing tier 2 and tier 3. Can I continue or? Excuse me? Okay, so in speaking of tier 3, and this is where I'll stop, we did the same process. Our school-wide team that consists of the assistant principal, the coach, and myself currently, we did the same process with the third graders, incoming third grade. And before school started, we contacted the parents. We had enough data to know that we had 69 students that were not at grade level when it came to reading. So we began our plan. We had those students assessed early on with this certain curriculum, and you have the handout in your folder, phonics for reading. And when school started, we also did the fluency, along with the Wonders oral fluency, just to see if we got the same type of results or if they were pretty close, and also the phonics survey. So all in all, after doing the analysis with these students, we were able to narrow it down to 20. And with the commitment of the teachers addressing the other students that were in the yellow level. So we were just talking about the students that are in what we consider the red, that they are the intensive students that truly need guidance in developing their foundational skills. So this has been our journey. This is what so far we have done. We also started already with fourth grade with the same process, same type of analysis, and really looking at the data. And so I'm very confident that we will succeed and keep moving forward, and we'll do the best that we can. I can assure you that my team will do everything what it takes in order for our students to accomplish their goals. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity on behalf of my staff, my students, and my families. Thank you so much.
Mr. Jimenez.
Thank
I had
you.
a question. If we
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. I was just, well, a comment. I'm just glad to see that you're using test data to, help students who are not not at the standards and also, from what I'm understanding, give additional um, uh, academic exposure to those who are at standard. I think that's what I understood you saying. So I was kind of focusing in a little bit on your vocabulary, and so the extended learning. So and what I'm understanding is that extended learning then is that learning that's giving to students who have met the standards.
Correct.
Is that correct?
So
Oh,
there-
okay.
Intervention block, per se. The students will be split up according to their results, right? So we have the 4 different levels. So certain teachers will be addressing the enrichment part because we can't leave those students behind as well. We can't leave them off to the side. So during that block of time, we will be addressing the students that need the assistance and the students, and enrich the students that have mastered.
So extended
section.
learning is not remediation. It's,
No.
Oh, okay. That's I just learned that. Thank you.
Go ahead, Mr. Mercado.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation, Mrs. Sarmenta. I saw that you have 131 McKinney-Vento students. What services are they being provided?
We have, thanks to AFRC, the families that do come forward and offer ask for assistance, we do connect them with them. We offer the counseling services for them as well, if needed. We provide additional services as far as tutoring if they need so. So they're part of the group. So it's regardless whether they're homeless or not, they're part of our mix. So, we're ensuring that all students, regardless of their conditions, their living conditions, are being addressed.
And my final question, because you answered most of my questions, Mr. Sarmenta. How do you gauge parent involvement?
Parent involvement has been, because of the pandemic. But I have to say that even before the pandemic, our parents really interested in what we were doing for them. Just like these 69 students, when we called the parents and we explained what was happening, they immediately said, "See, maestra, ayúdenme, help me, help my child." And they made sure that they brought the kids in during the summer to get tested, just so that we could get the ball rolling. So we do have a supportive, we have a supportive family group. We're bringing back our events, so that will be something that we look forward to. It's having that connection with them and having parent meetings now in person.
And in terms of when you communicate, like for instance, Lpac scores or when the Lpac testing is coming or school news, do you guys have like a school newsletter to distribute to our families? Or?
Yes, well, they all get their reports at home. One thing that we're doing now that we're bringing back is educating our parents through parent meetings as to what is Lpac, especially when you saw the ones that are right there. Those, what were they, 100 and, I think it's 140 some, 141 that are right there at the verge of moving over to level 4. It's making them aware of what we need from them as far as, and it's just providing a small place somewhere for, questioning our children. What did you learn today? How many books have you read? Because a lot of this has to do with reading, especially the Lexile. So just even doing that will help us tremendously.
Thank you.
Welcome, thank you.
Ms. Garcia? Yeah, go ahead. Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you for that wonderful presentation. Your passion shows through. And,
Thank you.
and I love data too, so I'm very happy that you presented us with so much to look at. So I like to congratulate you on that in-depth analysis of the student data, because it's important to us. And I'm glad that you're like targeting third and fourth grade. I'm currently teaching fourth grade, and so I know that there's definitely a learning loss there. And yeah, so anything you can do to target third and fourth grade, that's wonderful. Can you talk to me a little bit about this? Is there any student incentives that you're offering? I know,
Mhm.
you know, as a principal, as an ex-principal, I used to offer all kinds of incentives for the
Yes.
kids, because what's in
Yes.
it for them? I know the reading goals, you know, that's so important to us
Yes.
as administrators and teachers, but what's in it for the students? And I used to offer a lot of different incentives, especially tied to a similarly rated reader. You know, those, I did word counts because that's kind of the easier version. But I mean, I'd, you know, give them, you know, eating with the principal, I'd give them awards and medals if they made 1,000,000 words, you know, like all kinds of things so that they could motivate the students.
Oh,
So can you talk to me a
absolutely.
little bit about the incentives that you're providing?
Absolutely, anything for a celebration at our site, we definitely reward them and we recognize them, los alabamos, in the sense we praise them as much as we can. We do have these competitions, but friendly competitions among the grade levels and the students. And so we do present a lot of awards and we do honor them with parties and so forth, and awards and medals and so forth. So yes, we definitely recognize them, because it is something that they need to know, that that it's important that they're taking responsibility for their learning, but that we're also recognizing the hard work, because at the end of the day, they're the ones that are having to put las ganas into what they're working at.
And how long have your school particularly be working with West Ed? How long have you been doing that?
West Ed, I think the last couple of years, I believe. Yeah, we've been working with West Ed. It's the theory behind it, and so they've really guided us in that aspect. And then us taking it back to the teachers, because it's been a while, especially with ELD, bringing it back to the forefront as to what is needed for our kids to reclassify and to move forward, for that matter.
Oh, your passion shows through, and thank you for doing
Thank-
what you do.
Thank you so much.
Ms. Gilpaz?
Yes, thank you. I wanted to second that because your passion, I mean, even with that mask on, it's in your eyes. You can tell how proud you are, and you should be. You know, I feel honored with this meal that you prepared for us, because I compare it to, it's so much, it's so informational. And I know that at the board meeting, you don't have time to show off the great work that's happening at your school, but I do give you my word that I will read this. And congratulations for a very well put together presentation, the information, the data by grade level, talking about the goal setting, the instructional focus. There's a lot in here, and I know it took a lot to put it together for us. And sometimes these presentations, you know, don't go on as long as some would like to accept, to get the information, but there's other things we have to cover at the meeting, but it's great. And I do commit myself to reading this, and thank you so much for
Thank
what
you.
you do and to be the great leader that you do
Great
have.
leader.
The
no,
great leader
great staff that I have.
that you
Hardworking,
have
very
and
dedicated.
this district. And so thank you for sharing, and please go back and tell the
I
other
certainly
leaders
will.
that are following your footsteps that we're very
Certainly.
proud of their work at the school that you're doing with the students. Thank you.
so much. Thank you. Have a great night.
Thank you very much, Mr. Armenta. Okay, this is, I have two questions, but enough for Ms. Armenta. This is for, I don't know if Mr. Koning or Mrs. Anson. My questions is, what are we doing to make sure all principals, employee by our district meet all the requirements we ask for? And the other one is, what are we doing if principals are not meeting our expectations? You gave them.
So I do, President, Jimenez, have a point of clarification. I'm not sure.
Because we are, this presentation is regarding the principle. It's not regarding, I know she presented her school, but it's regarding what the principal doing or what is the expectation that we want in our district.
With all due respect,
Mhm.
I believe the presentation was on the school information, and those questions regarding principals would have to be agendized so that the public would know that we were addressing that. So agendizing may be something that deals with the principals, and we can get a presentation that would be more fitting.
You can do it?
I'm asking,
Yeah.
President,
was the
uh-huh.
pandemic.
okay,
Yeah.
thank you so much
No problem.
for clearing that up, President.
And then we continue, or you are answering my question?
Thought we were gonna have a presentation later on
Later on,
to address
to
the
address.
questions that
Okay.
you asked.
Thank you.
I mean, if anybody, I mean, that's a point of clarification, and you did clarify it for me, so thank you, Mr.
Yeah.
President.
Perfect. No problem.
It kind of sounds like, I don't know, Mr. Jimenez seems to be talking about how do you keep principals accountable? That, I don't know, that sounds more like a personnel thing, or I don't know, an evaluation thing. I'm not sure how you would do that as a presentation.
So another point of clarification, what I'm trying to say in the kindest way that I'm able to, out of respect for my colleagues here, is that those questions are not part of the presentation that is on the agenda that we publicize to the public that we would be covering. So they're very good questions, I think. So it has to be something separate that we would either agendize or ask the superintendent for some kind of board report on the Friday memo, or something where those questions can be
No.
addressed. But what we just had is a presentation on LSL Community School, which was fantastic. Thank you. So that was and Mr. Jimenez, I believe, clarified that by agreeing to discuss it when it's more appropriate. And if we need to ask the attorney for his thought on that, I'd be open to that.
Well, the theme of this presentation was the role of the principal as the instructional leader at the school site. That's what I asked Ms. Armenta to present. Now, I realize what's on the agenda is school site presentation, and I may have put the wrong item on the agenda, but since I think she presented about 6 months ago, I asked her to focus on what she does to ensure student achievement at LaSalle Community School, because they've, as she pointed out, and she had a comparison with district achievement over the past few years. LaSalle Community has really outshone the rest of the district over time in terms of what they've been able to get the students to achieve. So the theme of this was the role of the principal as the instructional leader at the school site,
At LSL Community.
at
School.
LaSalle Community. Yes.
Okay, we continue. Thank you for the presentation. And then we have the public comment concerning items on the open session agenda and on non-agenda item. There will be a 2-minute limit for individuals and 20-minute limit total public comment. There is no setting on on one times other individuals. Individuals wishing to address the board trustee on opposition agenda item and in own item may do so at this time. 6:15. We have something?
No green sheets have been submitted to request time for public comment.
Okay. Then adding time 6:16. Association comment. Alice Teacher Association. Thank you. California School Employee Association, Chapter 577. No comments. United Substitute Teacher Union. No comment. A board member, superintendent report. Any report? Mrs. Garcia? Go ahead.
Thank you, President Jimenez. So I'm a fourth grade teacher and I got a chance to take my fourth grade students to a field trip and to the aquarium. And I just, I just wanted to just remind school site councils and principals that when they're revising those budgets that my hopes are is that they are including money for field trips. There's nothing like a field trip to get our students with an authentic learning experience. So I hope that that is part of their budget, and especially when they get revised. Also, I was able to take a couple of chaperones, and those were parents, and they loved the field trip. And talking about chaperones and volunteers, I would really like to thank South Teachers Association and California School Employees Association, Chapter 577, for the generous endorsement of my candidacy for re-election for trustee area 3. I really appreciate all their hard work and their volunteerism. Thank you.
No more reports? No reports? Go ahead, Mr.
Okay, first of all, I just want to highlight, we've got a couple of folks capably filling in tonight. Andrea Luna is filling in for Claudia Melendez as our PIO. She's currently a substitute in the superintendent's office. And Maritza Salazar, who normally works in the Human Resources Department, keeping everything on an even keel, is filling in for Sylvia Santos, who is on vacation. She just welcomed her great-grandchild who was born at the end of last week. So thank you. I do have one other one. We've had several traffic scares around the school district over the past couple of weeks. The district is in the process of reviewing the safety procedures at our school sites. And at one school site, for example, we're reducing the number of exit points at the end of the day from 3 to 1. And also, I'll be meeting with our business associate superintendent, our MOTS director, with the city of Salinas chief of police to review safety at each of our school sites. So we are addressing this. It's our number one priority, and we'll make sure that the kids are safe, not only while they're on the school site, but while they're approaching. That's all I've got.
Thank you, Mr. Conley. Okay, we continue. Consent agenda. We need a motion to consent agenda.
So move.
Mr. Ocampo.
I will second that, but I would also like to pull item H just for a brief discussion. And I don't plan on Well, I do want to hold a separate vote for that one, please. Just pull for a separate vote. Item H, field trips involving overnight travel. The first H, yes, thank you. No, not pulling, just pulling for, no, sorry, just for a separate vote, please. Yes.
Okay. Mr. Mercado,
Before we vote on the consent agenda with item H removed, I have a few comments for agreement 6E. I would like to address. Not for a separate vote, but is to have some point of clarification. So if I read the agreement correctly, it's 180,000 for 3 schools, which add up to 60,000 per school per module, which is 12 parent sessions. So my question is, how long is each section going to be?
So it's about a 2-hour session.
And how many parents are we expecting to be there?
We're going to try and recruit as many parents as possible. When we spoke to the consultant, or that I spoke to the consultant, I wanted to make sure that we implemented the art therapy modules through the time where our parents were off season, to try and get more parents in the morning when they're dropping off their children. So we would probably start them in November, run them through as far as we can, or if we do together. I know that it's a 1 year or till the June, but we want to make sure between November and March, we can get as many as we can in, because that's when we know our parents are available, they have time, they come in, can participate off season.
Now, does this price include the materials that will be provided to our parents?
Yes,
Okay, so if they're gonna be 2 hours and each session runs about $5,000 for 2 hours work, I guess my question is, how do we justify that?
This is, this is a highly paid consultant that specializes in this sort of support for parents. And this is just what it costs.
Have we had this consultant before?
I don't think so.
not in this, I think he's been to the district many years ago, but not in this capacity.
I guess what I'm trying to ascertain is whether this person is worth that amount of money. And if he is, I'm willing to support it. Well, after all, it is for our parents. I'm
Yes.
just hoping that if we support this, the message is clear so that we communicate it to as many parents as possible.
Yes, and I think
I want to see there's like 5 parents show up, spending a tremendous amount of money.
yes. And I think we can start with one school and see what it is, the success it has. And what we want to make sure, again, just like you, is that it is successful. We didn't go all districts. We picked the 3 schools because of the location of each school where parents can walk. We can, and especially where there's the need, based on even referrals from the community and for the FRCs and our counselors. So it was strategically selected for the same reason.
Okay. For example, let's say we start out Chavez Elementary, for instance, and the success rate wasn't as high as we anticipated. Is there language in the contract where you can just cancel the contract because maybe lack of parents willingness to go?
There is a language for termination, and most consultants will invoice us for the service rendered. So if he does not complete and we want to break, then we can speak to that as well.
I'm curious to see the amount if we try one of the first schools and see how many, what's their parent rate, and if it's worthwhile, maybe you can come back to us.
And we'll
Action.
work with our parent groups. They're really good about helping us recruit parents to attend our workshops.
Thank you.
Now and then we are voting to approve items 5, A through G. Oh. Second.
Mhm.
8. Oh,
A through P. With the
Minus
exception
eight.
of.
with the exception of 8. By age.
Okay, so Mr. Ocampo already made the motion and I seconded it. So what I believe is gonna happen now is
Voting.
we're gonna vote on A through P and then do a separate vote on H.
Right.
Because we pulled it for a separate vote.
Okay. Through G. Okay.
I'm sorry to make it simple.
No, that's okay. Then this is my first time. Then vote and then we are voting to approve items 5 from A to G. No, to G. 5 A to G and 6 A to P. Right? Okay. Then, okay, we are voting. If we are agreed, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And this motion passed by 5 votes to 0. And then we need another motion for 5H. Ms. Gilpas,
I believe it's 6H.
6H.
It's 5H. 6H is the resolution for the purchase of the free electric buses that CC has put together for over at the Transportation Department. $2.5 million of free buses. So
Okay, good.
we want this one to pass.
Yes, yes, yes. Then it's 6. Okay, who's the second? I need a second. Okay, Ms. Gilpas first. And then Ms. Garcia second.
So
No.
I,
Okay, questions?
so I did, thank you, sorry. President. Jimenez, so Mrs. Anzo, I left my notes at home, but I do have a thought on this. This is also the science camp, correct? And they're going to, where now?
Mount Herman.
Okay,
Yes.
I was gonna say- And the only reason, and I did want a separate vote, is because I do not support overnight trips. I just don't see why kids have to go somewhere where they're going to sleep away from home. And it's not to scare any community members or scare anybody, but we've had issues on these sorts of field trips, and I do not support overnight field trips. And I just had to make that point, and I did get a couple of parents call me on that, not that are going on this specific one, and I think that I just have to say, I mean, it's a great thing for kids, but some of my constituents are not for overnight, and I'm not either, and I just had to publicly vote a nay on this one, and that's why, although science camp is great, the other aspects of it is great, it's the overnight part that I just cannot. Thank you.
We have a motion and a second. Any further comment you could ask?
Go ahead, Ms. Garcia.
So, yeah, I did have a comment about Mount Herman. So to take any science trip for students, it's usually about roughly between $250 to $300. And I know this one, about $28,000 for 99 kids. And my question more than anything else is, is that money coming out of their budget specifically, or is it coming out of the school district budget? And if it is, are we offering that to every, is it fifth grader that you're, fifth graders that you're, are you targeting every fifth grader? Is every fifth grader out there in our districts being able to attend?
Yes, every fifth grader will be given the opportunity to participate in science camp this is for Montebello Elementary School. And as far as the other schools go, they are currently planning science camp for which may be scheduled sometime between now and the end of May. But every student at this school in fifth grade will be given the opportunity to go to science.
And then, yeah.
And it's being paid for by the district with supplementary concentration grant funding.
It's an action in our LCAP.
I mean, before it used to be that kids had to raise the money and
Right.
sell candy, and the parents were, stuck.
Buy all
sometimes
kinds of candy.
buy the candy, or the kids would, lose the candy, and then the parents had to pay for the money. So thank you for supporting science camp. Yeah, thank you. I'm okay.
Mr. Mercado.
It's been a long time since I've seen field trips here in the consent agenda. When was the last time we had an overnight field trip?
The last overnight field trip was,
2020?
yeah, it was in 2019. When Montebello went to Mount Herman for science camp.
Okay, well, I will be respectfully disagreeing. I would like to give our students opportunity to experience these. Many of our kids don't have that luxury to go and explore new things. So I think it's up to the parents to decide whether or not they would like their child to participate. And I wouldn't want to deny any students that opportunity. So I would be in favor of this.
No more comments? Okay, now we are going to vote to approve the item 5H. All in favor, say aye or
Aye.
Aye.
aye. Then it's gonna be 4. Any notes? Noes? Only 1. And then it's 4-1. Motion passed 4-1. That's it, huh? No more H, B, C, D. Okay. It was my first time. I'm sorry, person. Okay. Thank you. Now. Okay, thank you. Item 7. Okay. Now I need a motion to discuss consideration and possible adoption of a revision of the board policy 5123, promotion and retention policy. I need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Mr. Mercado, second. Mr. Garcia, any comments or questions? Ms. Garcia, go ahead.
Okay, me. So, thank you for, I wasn't here last week. That was really the last board meeting. I was very sick. But I thank you for putting this together because just a little background on me, I didn't go to 4th grade. So I went from 3rd through 5th. So I missed 4th grade and now I'm teaching 4th grade. So yay me. But yeah, there are those students you're sitting in your classroom right now that are beyond what is being taught there. And there's no reason for us to deny them the opportunity to accelerate their learning. And so I fully support this resolution. And that's it.
Mr. Mercado,
I just wanted to clarify, will the board have any input on determining whether or not the student is promoted?
Ms. Adzo, I think this still, does the language still call for the superintendent to make a recommendation to the board?
I think I'd have to ask Dr. H since Dr. H oversees the retention and acceleration. And so he was working on this policy.
uh, Mr. Koenig, board members and community members present. So we made some adjustments to the board policy to reflect a more detailed process anytime there was a request from a parent coming to our schools with interest of accelerating a student up to another grade. The policy did not specify what steps we would take. So the steps that are included now are ones that, as designated by Mr. Koenig with your approval as part of this policy, then would have to be executed. Once these are executed, then the recommendation would be returned to the superintendent, and in turn, he would make the final determination in terms of whether the process followed the required steps. As designated, superintendent is designated by you board, and then him designating whoever would be leading the process.
Okay, so the former process just said I made the recommendation. This one, I don't remember. I was looking more at the steps in the process, but does this say I make the recommendation or I approve the accelerated promotion?
So I think it's the, if we read it, so when the superintendent or designee may recommend a student for acceleration into a higher level, so as written on the policy itself. But it would, the one thing that was reviewed or revised on the policy are the steps for that to take place, which were missing before.
So the superintendent still makes the recommendation to the board. So the board will still make the determination as to whether the student will be accelerated. That's the way it was done before.
Any other questions? You're welcome.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed by 5. I need a motion to discuss consideration and possible adoption of revision of Board Policy 6158, independent study.
Second.
Any comments or question? Yes? No? Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes by 5 votes. Thank you. Human Resources. I need a motion, please, I need a motion to migrant education additional 1.0 FTE, Migrant Family Service Advocate, You have a question? Motion or question? Okay, Mr. Garcia.
And
And
I'll second.
second, Mr. Mercado. Any comments or question? Mr. Mercado?
How many total MFSAs do we currently have in the district?
We currently have 3 MFSAs. If we add this one, it will be 4 MFSAs.
Okay, no more questions? Go. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, motion passes by 5 votes. And please, you need a motion to variable term waiver for the 2022-2023 school year. Mrs. Garcia,
A second.
Mr. Ocampo. Any questions or comments? No question, no comments. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed by 5 votes. Please, I need a motion to ratification of the memorandum of understanding between Alisal Union School District and Alisal Teacher Association regarding 2022-2023 COVID-19 safety and working condition.
Second.
Okay. Gilpas, Mr. Ocampo, second one. Any comments or question? Okay, no comments, no questions. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed by 5 votes. I mean, administrative services. Adopt resolution I need a motion to adopt the resolution 2223-07 affirming Latino Heritage Month. Please, could you, is that funny? Could you read the resolution for us?
LaSalle Union School District, Salinas, California, Resolution 2223-07. Affirmation of September 15th as the beginning of National Latino Heritage Month. Whereas LaSalle Union School District is honored to join citizens throughout the country in recognizing September 15th, 2022 as the start of National Hispanic Heritage Month. And whereas every year since 1968, from September 15th to October 15th, the country has celebrated Hispanic Latino culture and contributions to our community and nation. And whereas each year, Americans observe National Hispanic Heritage Month by celebrating the histories, cultures, and contributions of Latino Americans whose ancestors came from Mexico, the Caribbean, and Central and South America and Spain. And whereas the 2022 theme for National Hispanic Heritage Month, Unidos, Inclusivity for a Stronger Nation, encourages us to ensure that all voices are represented and welcomed to help build stronger communities and a stronger nation. And whereas this is an opportunity to share the historical contributions of Latino Americans that have significantly impacted education, and pioneers such as Roberto Alvarez, whose groundbreaking case, Roberto Alvarez versus Lemon Grove School District, California in 1931, was the first successful school desegregation case in U.S. history. And whereas throughout the year, we honor the contributions of Latino Americans in our history, as well as celebrate the contributions of Hispanic Americans who serve our community and schools every day, such as civil rights trailblazers Dolores Huerta, Jesse G. Sanchez, and Cesar E. Chavez, after whom schools of the Alisal Union School District are named. And whereas Hispanic, Latino, Latina students make up 95% of Alisal Union School District student population and 82% of the Monterey County student population, and represent the largest racial ethnic group among the state's child population. And whereas Alisal Union School District, in its effort to honor National Hispanic Heritage Month and to enhance equity and diversity, remains dedicated to providing resources and programming for Spanish-speaking communities, maintains 3 family resource centers, offers strong bilingual education programs, offers translation and interpretation services for families in schools, continues recruitment efforts to attract diverse educators into the teaching profession, promotes multilingual education, and continues to support safe schools and resources for students regardless of their immigration status. And whereas, in resonance with the 2022 theme, Unidos Inclusivity for a Stronger Nation, Alisal Union School District recognizes the significant contributions and considerable advances that Latino Americans have made and continue to make every day in our community, state, and the world as leaders, politicians, educators, and public servants. Alisal Union School District looks forward to the continued partnerships that uplift Latino, Latina students and help prepare them for a bright, innovative future. And whereas Alisal Union School District remains committed to serving, inspiring, and promoting student success while improving student equity and access to high-quality education. And whereas Alisal Union School District encourages teachers, other staff members, students, families, and the community to use this opportunity to honor the contributions of the Hispanic Latino population through student-led activities and inclusive curriculum. Now, therefore, be it resolved that by the adoption of Resolution 2223-07, affirmation of September 15th as the beginning of National Hispanic Heritage Month, the Alisal Union School District Board of Trustees recognizes National Hispanic Heritage Month and its commitment to this year's theme, Unidos Inclusivity for a Stronger Nation, passed and adopted by the Alisal Union School District Board of Trustees this 5th day of October 2022 by the following vote.
So I'll make the motion.
Okay. Ms. Gilpas?
I would
okay.
like to second that motion, but our agenda is calling it Latino Heritage Month, and it's nationally recognized as Hispanic National Month. So are we adopting it as, are we voting on it as Hispanic, as it's identified nationally?
The resolution that has been proposed is affirmation of September 15th as the beginning of National Hispanic Heritage Month.
And that's what it's called, yet our agenda says Latino Heritage Month,
The,
which to some it may not make a difference, but nationally it's Hispanic. So if we vote, we're saying Latino instead of,
we're voting on the agenda, on the resolution that is included in the agenda.
okay, so so it's reading in the agenda
Yes.
as Latino
Latino.
Heritage
The,
Month,
the
And
agenda is
it's-
in there.
and it's National Hispanic Heritage Month. So if we leave it as is, we're changing the name from Hispanic to Latino.
The
So
resolution.
I'm just saying, we should call it what it is,
Yes.
Hispanic National,
Oh,
right? That's all I'm saying, I'm sorry. And I don't mean to complicate this. I apologize.
Um,
That's what it is.
I agree with you.
Well-
We will make sure that the agenda reflects the correct title and
Thank
the
you.
resolutions in the future.
Okay. But I need a motion.
Yeah, we
Yes,
have the
well,
motion
okay,
already.
well, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
I need a vote,
Yeah. There it
right?
is. Mhm.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed by 5-0, right? See, I didn't hear the, Ms. Gilpas. Yes, right? Okay. Okay. Future agenda items. Any board members would like to add items to the future agenda? Please. Ms. Garcia?
So I just want to circle back. So I just want an update on the safety audits I've been asking for, and just, I kind of want that to come back. So if you can give me at least an update of where we're at with that, that'd be great.
Okay.
I would like a list of the agenda items that board members have asked for, maybe on the update, maybe, and then check off the ones, because at this point, I don't want to ask for something I already asked for. But I'm not old enough to say that they presented and I forgot. I'm not there yet, but I just want a list. That way, check off list, yes, thank you, Mr. Cole. Just on the Friday update, the Friday memo. Thank you.
Right there? No? Mr.
No, I
Mr.
think
Ocampo?
I think it's a good idea because, I mean, we've been asking for things and I think, well, obviously some have been provided, but I think some have not. So I think a check off list makes sense. Yeah. Why? Let's check it off and before we ask for anything new, right? And then, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Yes.
Thank you for running a very efficient meeting, President Jimenez.
Thank you, thank you. Mr. Juanino, nothing? Let's go. Okay. Public comment, closed session agenda items only. There will be a 2-minute limit for individuals and public comments and 20-minute limits on total public comments. There is no setting of one's time to other individuals. Individuals wishing to address the Board of Trustees of closed session agenda item may do so at this time. Starting time 6:53. Ending time 6:54. I'm adjourned to close session at 6:55.